There's a phrase often said that sometimes the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. And I think that's really what is going on in the Viola Afghan. This Afghan was actually inspired by probably one of the simplest things in my yard, a little pansy that I had planted, and I took some pictures of it in the fading evening light in summertime. When I went back and I was trying to find some ideas about what I wanted to do for a blanket, my original idea was something kind of Georgia O'Keeffe inspired. I really liked the way she focused on just a small part of something that made it seem larger than life. I wanted to go back through my photographs that I've taken and look for flowers specifically. It kind of made me think a little bit more of modern art, and I was thinking, this is so graphic looking, what can I do with it? So basically I took the image of the pansy into Photoshop and I kind of messed around with it a little bit, changed the levels, made it fewer colors than you actually had in real life. And then basically through a process of just kind of gritting it out, seeing what it looked like, looking at the motion in all of the veins and the petals and everything like that, I decided that I'm going to do a little bit something different with the color work. Well, what if I turn this basically organic, round, soft thing into hard lines and stripes and corners, and how could I do that? So I actually decided that, let's try to do something with garter stitch. Let me see if I can sketch this flower using only straight lines, either at a 90-degree angle, 45-degree angle, 180, 270, nothing beyond angles. So I took this flower image, after I messed with it in Photoshop a lot, and I actually just sat down and I sketched out all of the angles that I saw and basically made a grid. And I put that grid over the image that I had created in Photoshop and colored it in with the colors I wanted to use in the Afghan eventually. What we ended up with was 206 individual squares of garter stitch, nothing other than garter stitch in straight lines, either mitered or concentric or just straight up garter stitch. Absolutely the most beginner type of knitting possible. This is just garter stitch. It's all in the way you put it together, the way you rotate things, the way you change colors from stripe to stripe. You can use the simplest technique that you learn in knitting and make an incredibly intricate pattern that you can't even see up close. You really kind of do have to step back and look at it. But when you do, you realize that, so much work, so much effort, so much time went into creating this incredibly simplistic thing. And it kind of gives you a greater appreciation for how complex and dynamic nature is and how we can really use a lot of artistic license to bring that home.